left the doors open?
Jeffrey, probably. Any monk could walk in.
Anything there?
Yes. I just don't want any trouble.
Go on.
Go ahead, Central 10.
We have a deceased at this location. It appears suspicious. Can we have Central
It's the way the character's written, Hilary. He's supposed to be disconnected. That's what makes him objective.
No, he thinks he's objective. He thinks he's disconnected, but no one ever really is, are they? Especially in detective novels.
Oh, there's Frida. Is Pauline home?
The car's here. Is something wrong?
Oh, I just wanted to speak to her before she got here.
Pauline!
He's upset because I told him he's got a few problems with his protagonist.
I'm not upset. Pauline, Frida's here.
Des Carmody rang. I thought I should warn her.
Why? What's he done?
I don't know, there was just something fishy.
I've got that book for you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll just get the end of the shaft off first before we cut them down.
Well, I guess we know what killed them.
Not necessarily. Could have been poison tipped.
Do you know how long they've been dead? I want to get them off the wall before I take their temperatures.
Yeah, Toots, can you wait a couple of minutes? The boss is on his way. He'll want to see this.
What?
Sorry.
Spear gun.
Killer must have been in a rush to get out of here.
What are these on the shaft of their letters?
Yep, AD. You could catch a shark with one of those things.
Really?
A big one, too. They're factory loaded with compressed air, pack a huge wallop.
1:10 p.m. One uniform outside. Now, front door I can see. There was one female uniform, one female plain clothes. They must be inside. And my car just pulled up. Driver plain clothes male. Oh yeah, cop. Gee, pick him. Pretty snazzy car for a cop, though. Excuse me. I was wondering if I could have a...
Madam, no comment. She's not a reporter. Miss Windsor, I asked you before. Would you please go home, wait for me there, and I'll be with you as soon as I can. Thank you very much. Hilary Windsor, she called it in.
She found the body?
Yeah, she and the two victims' spouses. You should have a listen to the Triple O recording. She gives a blow-by-blow description of the crime scene. Doesn't miss a thing.
It's suspicious.
Yeah, more like obsessive. She belongs to some crime readers' book club.
Piece of wood, is it?
Yeah, it's cedar, I think. Get a shot of it.
This is James Holland, Pauline Hook. They were business partners.
Hang on now. I just want to get this straight. These two aren't married. Huh?
No.
Now, the proximity of the bodies doesn't necessarily mean anything. Inspector, the force of the shot could have forced them together.
So it was her husband and his wife, along with Miss Marple out there, who found them.
You got it. So you've seen what you need to see, have you, Inspector? We can get the bodies down.
All yours.
Terrific. Boys?
Malcolm, James and Pauline had a business. It was called Hook and Holland. They specialised in shopping tours, holiday weekends, bargain hunter bus rides, that sort of thing.
Swim with the dolphins. Very ecological. Aquatic diversion. There's an AD on that spear gun. Aquatic diversions.
Look at these. Poison. Interesting cases of asphyxiation, strangulation, serial killers. What's this all about?
They're all, Geoffrey Hook's research notes. He's a crime writer.
They've been dead an hour, tops. Probably less.
How long since the call came in?
About 40 minutes.
That means the three of them must have just missed the killer.
I'm assuming that it was a quick death for both victims, but I won't be able to tell for sure until the autopsy.
Let's just assume for a minute that the death was instantaneous. The husband and wife of the victim came in with Hilary Windsor. They saw Pauline and James. Maybe they disturbed the killer. Maybe that's why he or she dropped the spear gun.
Yeah. Why didn't the victims see their killer?
Maybe they were hiding. So, Pauline and James were making their way to the bookcase when whammo. How hard would it be to kill two people with one shot like that?
Obviously, it wasn't very hard at all.
You give your sister a big squeeze for me, okay? No, Mummy's fine. I'll be there as soon as I can, all right? Now, you put Auntie Boo back on the phone for me. I love you. He just loves us Dad so much. Look, I don't want them to watch the news, all right? I don't want them to know how this happened.
Mr. Hook, please.
All right.
When you left, were the French doors open?
Yes. Des Carmody was still there, so I left them open so he could get out.
Who's Des Carmody?
He was Pauline's business partner. He runs aquatic diversions. Look, I don't know how long he stayed. I don't even know if he did stay. But he wanted to see Pauline, and I told him she wouldn't be back until 12:30.
About what time did you leave him?
Around midday, because I was running late for Hilary.
Right. So between 12 and 12:30 you were next door with Hilary Windsor?
Yes.
And you were expecting your wife back around 12:30?
Oh, yes, we were going to have lunch together. We always have lunch together on Thursdays. She drops in after her acupuncture.
Yeah. Look, I'll need you to come in and give a formal statement. And if you can think of anything else, please, give me a call on that number. All right?
Yes. Writing about it's one thing. It's very different in real life, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
I don't understand what my husband was doing here.
A business matter, perhaps?
James should have been at work. He always went there after squash.
He plays squash on Thursday mornings?
Yeah. We sometimes have lunch together.
Right. You said that you got a call from Des Carmody this morning. That was at the office, was it?
Yeah, he wanted to speak to Pauline. I told him that she wasn't there, but he didn't believe me. Why should I lie?
Take your time.
Well, he was swearing and carrying on. Oh, I wasn't thinking, so I told him that if he wanted to speak to her, he should come here, and she'd be home here at about 12:30. And then I hung up. I thought, oh God, poor Pauline, she won't know what hit her. So I tried to ring her on her mobile to warn her, but it was switched off. So I left the office, got in the car, and I came straight over.
Do you know what Des wanted to talk to her about?
No, he didn't say. It was probably something to do with them wanting to buy him out of the business. I really would like to see my kids now.
Sure.
He just finished another chapter and wanted my opinion. If you ask me for a first novel, he was aiming way too high.
Did you see anyone enter or leave the house between 12 and 12:30?
No, I wasn't looking.
And you went next door with Geoffrey Hook and Frida Holland?
Yes. We met Frida out the front. Geoffrey was lending me a book. He opened the library door. There they were, skewered like a shish kebab.
The library door was shut?
Yes.
And then what happened?
Well, Geoffrey fainted. Complete vasovagal. Out like a light. I came back here and rang the police.
Right. Why didn't you call the police from there?
There was no point unnecessarily contaminating a crime scene when there was a perfectly good phone a few seconds away. That's why I made sure I was wearing gloves when I went back.
Right, and that's when you went into the library?
It was my first murder. I want to take a closer look at the bodies. Huh. And before you start to panic, I didn't touch them.
Okay, so tell me, what did you notice?
The look of shock on their faces. Huh. I've never seen it before. Death doesn't worry me. I'm used to it.
I take it you've had a medical background of some kind?
Nursing. Mummy thought it was a good fallback. She believed in things like that.
You don't?
I believe in a well-managed share portfolio.
Hillary?
We're in the kitchen.
Okay, thank you. We'll need you to come in later and give a formal statement.
This is Carol Thornhill.
Detectives Vance and Hayden.
We're investigating a double murder, Miss Thornhill.
Jeffrey's wife and a partner. I found them. Someone shot them with a spear gun.
I think Hillary Windsor has some serious problems.
What about the housemate?
Did you see that? She took a photograph. Des Carmody? All right, Des, you want to take me through it again? You rang the office?
I spoke to Frida. She told me Pauline wasn't in. I knew she wasn't lying. She's too dumb to cover up for anyone. She said Pauline be home sometime around 12, so I get round there and the chinless wonder tells me she's not back till 12:30.
Who's?
Jeffrey Hook. Pauline's husband. The writer. She kept him, you know. I don't know why she bothered. Jeffrey had to go away, so I stayed. I waited maybe 5 minutes and then I left. I left. I wasn't there.
Do you recognise this spear gun, Mr. Carmody?
AD, yeah. It's one of mine. Was this the murder? Didn't kill them, right?
Do you have any idea what this spear gun was doing at the Hook house?
Maybe Pauline had it. I don't know. Look, you saw. I got lots of them things. I must lose at least 10 guns a year. They fall off the boats. People souvenir them. And hey, if I was going to kill anyone, I wouldn't leave anything as easy to identify as that behind.
A couple of broken ribs, bleeding from the intercostal arteries, lungs full of blood. Hello, Pussy.
How'd you go with James?
Hypoxic cardiac arrest. The spear ripped through the aorta, died within seconds.
His underwear indicates that he's had recent sex.
What about Pauline? It's the same. Sent vaginal swabs off. Spear ripped straight through the atrium. Possibly died of a hemopericardium. The sac around the heart fills up with blood and compresses the heart and you die.
How long would that take?
Well, the hole's big. She would have bled quite fast, a minute or two.
The time frame's getting narrower.
Oh, tell you something else. She was pregnant.
The victim's credit card receipts from the Alessi Hotel, found it in his wallet.
Dated today. Looks like he missed that squash game. Surprise, surprise. Any word on the fetal blood test yet?
Still waiting.
11 weeks. She must have known that she was pregnant.
Probably, but did the husband know?
Pauline was a no-show at the acupuncturist. Hasn't been there for months.
Okay, get Jeffrey and Frida back in here. Let's find out what they really know.
Were you aware that your wife was having an affair with James Holland?
No.
You don't sound particularly shocked.
I was shocked when I found the bodies. I guess there mustn't be much shock left in me.
If I'd known, I wouldn't have wanted to know. Oh, I'm sorry, all this sounds really confused. I've just spent the day trying to explain things to my children.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah. Does the Alessi Hotel mean anything to you?
No.
Your husband and Mrs. Hook had a room booked there regularly for the last 8 months.
8 months. I must look like some sort of fool. How could I not have known?
Did your wife never indicate she was planning to leave you?
No. Pauline was a very loyal wife. She paid the bills while I worked on my book.
What sort of book?
Crime. Isn't that a joke?
And you were working on this book for 5 years?
Yes.
That's a long time. Did your wife ever threaten to withdraw her financial support?
No.
Mr. Hook, were you aware that your wife was 11 weeks pregnant?
Was it his?
We're still trying to establish paternity. It would help speed things up if you'd agree to a blood test.
Yes, all right. We were going to try for a child after I'd finished the book.
Maybe Pauline just got sick of waiting for him to finish his book. I don't know, I would have.
What, you wouldn't have supported him while he was writing?
No way, what a bludger. I supported a boyfriend once for 2 years. What? You had a boyfriend? I must have been mad. I was mad. I was mad.
You know, Jeffrey might have known about the affair, but I think he had no idea Pauline was pregnant.
Anyway, Jeffrey didn't do it. He was next door with Hilary Windsor when it happened.
Ah, Hilary, the classic impartial witness. You know, there's something we haven't considered. Maybe Jeffrey and Frida hired a hitman person.
And supply them with Des's spear gun. Did the local patrol find anything?
None of the neighbours saw anything. Whoever it was got away very quickly.
Hilary is the classic impartial witness, isn't she?
Hilary. Do you think maybe she's read one too many crime fiction?
What? Just because she's a fruitcake doesn't mean she's stupid.
Tell me more about this boyfriend. What? 2 years is a long time. Good night, Dee.
Air tanks. Wetsuits. Everything marked with AD. Spear guns. Right. The Quartic 9000. That's the one.
Get away from that gear.
Oh, gosh, you gave me a fright.
You shouldn't be poking around where you got no business. You were talking to someone?
Oh, that's just me. I always talk to myself. Is this what you take away on spearfishing?
Can I do something for you?
Oh, yes. I want to swim with the dolphins.
Wednesday afternoon, Saturday mornings. $120, refreshments supplied, bookings only. What name will I put down?
Oh, I was just inquiring.
What do you want? Who sent you? Hey, I'm talking to you.
This way, Miss Windsor.
So, this is where all the evidence comes up. The nerve centre.
You said on the phone you wanted to talk to us?
You can feel it, can't you? All the tragedy that's passed through these walls.
What is it you'd like to talk to us about?
I've been doing a bit of sleuthing.
Then please don't.
You're different to him, aren't you?
You said on the phone that you had some information, is that right?
Well, thoughts, ideas, rather than information. I'm extremely bright, you know. You'd be surprised. I could really help you.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you also know that we can't actually tell you anything. Oh. If you had any information, you would tell us, wouldn't you?
Of course. Deliberately withholding evidence is a criminal offence. No?
Good. Okay, we're actually very busy, Miss Windsor. Detective, could you please show Miss Windsor out? Thank you.
What's she up to?
Besides being a bloody nuisance, very little.
Do you remember David Berkovich, the serial killer?
Son of Sam?
Yeah. He used to hang around diners so he could listen to cops discussing his case. He used to create the situation that would enable him to be part of the action.
I think she's playing a role. She's trying to invent a character for herself.
The question is, how far would she go to put herself in the thick of a real-life murder investigation?
It's the same thing all over again.
You're getting hysterical.
I'm not hysterical. I'm upset.
Go and buy yourself a new dress. Make some curtains. Do something.
You're not listening to me. This is why you lost your job, Hilary.
Oh, it was a boring job. I don't know why I did it.
You liked that job until you got...
He was an old, defenceless man.
You were interfering.
It could have been murder.
There was no evidence. He died of a heart attack.
The daughter-in-law was trying to get rid of him.
Oh, you harassed her.
I was trying to get her to confess. Look, it's different this time. I'm keeping things in perspective.
Oh, God.
It's all right. Really. I'm good at this.
That's what you always say.
That's it. You go off and play detectives.
It's always up to me to clean up the mess.
Whoa, lost your temper last night, did you, Sergeant? Missed by a long way. It's not like you.
Dee? She's standing in front of the in-tray. Now, why do you stand in front of an in-tray?
Well, you're either picking something up or dropping something off, ain't you?
Exactly. There was nothing in her hand, there was nothing on the floor, so whatever it was had to still be in there. Where are the contents of those in-trays?
Steve brought them back before. They're just bills mainly. They're in those boxes there.
Oh, whiz them over here.
Hey, do you know about Tootsie's boyfriend?
No.
Yeah, she told me about it in the bar. I'm not sure exactly when it was.
Bit busy.
Oh, I just thought you'd be interested, that's all. She's only supporting him for 2 years, that's all.
Hmm. 8 months. I never suspected anything. Every Thursday, like clockwork.
Then she'd come home and have lunch with me.
You knew, didn't you?
I told you I didn't know anything. I didn't even know she was pregnant.
Weren't 3 kids enough for him?
He wanted me to have a blood test.
But I think it was yours.
They probably just want to exclude me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not having it. My lawyer said I'd be mad if I did.
I better get back to the kids.
Recording.
Right, now, it is Thursday, 12:30, 12:35. Pauline comes in through this door. She heads straight for the in-tray.
Which means she's either picking something up or dropping something off. What? We're not sure.
Now, she finds her access to the in-tray blocked, but before she has a chance to do anything about it, of course, James comes up behind her.
Still charged up from the Alessi Hotel.
Now, she tries to move the ladder away to the left, but it's stuck. Wonder why? It's wedged. So, she moves it away to the right. All right, stop recording. Thanks, Dave.
Fisk, impressive.
Fishing line.
But we didn't find any fishing line.
No, but I did when I vacuumed the crime scene.
Killer must have missed it when he cleaned up, eh?
Fisk, how long would this have taken to set up?
Well, assuming the line was already rigged, the spear gun wouldn't take long at all.
They all had access to the library. Des, Jeffrey, Frida, even Hillary.
The killer could have still been cleaning up the room, and he would have had to have taken off when the witnesses arrived.
You know, we've been assuming that the spear was meant for both of them. What if Pauline was the only target? I mean, James wasn't even meant to be in the library.
What are you saying? One death's a murder and the other one's an accident.
Des said he only went to meet Pauline.
Exactly, he never mentioned James. Now, Des Carmody was still there at 12 when Jeffrey went next door to Hillary's. The bodies were discovered at 12:35.
The trap would have had to have been set from 12 to 12:30.
Frida doesn't have an alibi.
What's the motivation, though?
Jealousy. Pauline was sleeping with Frida's husband. Well, works for me.
That's where I come unstuck. It does work if she knew about the affair, but I don't think she did.
Are you accusing me of murdering my own husband?
Did you?
This is ridiculous. My kids are going through hell. You know, their father's dead. Do you have any idea what it's like trying to explain to 3 young children that they'll never see their father again?
You knew your husband was having an affair with Pauline Hook?
No. Maybe I was a fool, but I didn't know. Can I go now?
Yeah. And if it's any consolation, Mrs. Holland, we just got the results back from the fetal blood tests. Your husband wasn't the father of Pauline's baby.
What? The baby. It was probably yours. But we'll need to do blood tests to be absolutely sure. You all right?
No. No, I'm not.
He doesn't gel either. This is a man who just spent 5 years writing a single book.
So what? When did you turn into a literary critic?
Well, think about it. If it takes him that long to work out what his fictional characters are doing, doesn't speak volumes for his decision-making ability. And this was a very calculated murder.
Pauline wanted me to go back into teaching. Now I know why.
She never believed you'd make it as a writer. She wanted security. It was yours, wasn't it? The baby.
I'm sure whatever I said was perfectly correct. I have a very good memory for detail.
I'm sure you have, Miss Windsor, but you would be amazed what even the best witnesses sometimes forget. So, Jeffrey Hook came over here at about 12:05.
He was a couple of minutes late because Des Carmody had dropped around to his place.
All right. And you sat down together, you had coffee.
And mud cake.
And mud cake, and then you started reading his book. Where were you then? Were you in here in the kitchen?
No, Jeffrey was in the kitchen. I was in the...
You were where?
Well, I was in my study. Jeffrey says he gets too nervous when he watches me. I make faces, apparently.
Right. And how long were you and Jeffrey separated?
Oh, for as long as it takes to read a chapter, probably 20 minutes.
Okay, and was the door to the study closed?
Yes.
Thanks, Miss Windsor. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Well, she probably thinks Jeffrey did it now.
Or you.
If you want me, I'll be in the toilet with Walter Mosley.
Both the husband and wife of the victims had opportunity. The problem is motive. They knew about the affair, fine.
But we don't think they did.
If we're right about that, they're out of the equation. A lot of it.
Now, it leaves us with Des Carmody. He has opportunity, motive and access to the murder weapon.
Plus, he has a history of violence. He was charged with assault 3 years ago, got off on a good behaviour. He's up to something, Malcolm. Why would James and Pauline want to get rid of him if he's bringing in good business?
Now, Frida says that everything was absolutely fine until about a month ago.
Now, why did all that change? Did they find out he was ripping them off? What happened?
OK, you've persuaded me. Go on, put him under surveillance.
Thank you.
First thing tomorrow.
Yes, Mr. Hook, I do understand. Just stay where you are. I'll be there as soon as I can.
Must have heard me. I think it was Des Carmody.
OK, Mr. Hook, the local police are on their way. Just stay here and tell them exactly what happened. Step back onto the curb. What were you doing at the Hook house?
I was looking for something that belonged to me. I left something there when I went to see Pauline.
And what was that?
Photos. She and James were having an affair.
And you thought you might blackmail them with those photos, huh?
I just wanted them to change their mind about buying me out, that's all.
And why'd they want to buy you out? Did they find out you'd been using the boat trips as cover for your illegal abalone fishing? Witness refuses to answer the question.
That'll be right.
Fisheries have been tailing you for months, Mr. Carmody.
They got nothing on me. Nothing. That's why they spoke to James and Pauline, told them I was using their business as a cover. Claimed I was raking in millions. Do I look like I'm raking in millions?
Well, it doesn't look as though you're doing too badly. No mortgage, couple of flash cars.
Fisheries got no evidence.
But James and Pauline decided they couldn't take the risk, huh?
Hypocrites. All that time they were screwing each other.
Where exactly did you leave these photos?
Tray on the bookcase. Photographs would have probably had my fingerprints all over them.
So you figured you better get them back before we found them. Leaving it a bit late, aren't you?
Look, I didn't kill them.
Mr. Carmody, there weren't any photos in the in tray.
Well, then someone must have taken them.
Yeah, but who?
I haven't got any choice.
Wonder what it'd be like finding a partner skewered to the wall like that. Would I have fainted if it had been Carol skewered? Oh, what a buzz. Pure adrenaline. Oh, you don't get that too often. Oh, stop it, Hillary.
Frida.
You're obsessing.
Don't.
Ah, that's right. Push his hands away. You look like an old
Please.
married couple. Nag, nag, nag. And a Carol here.
Oh, I forgot the milk.
You'd forget your head if it wasn't screwed on. Give me the keys.
I took them when Hillary went next door to make a phone call. Well, they were on the floor. Pauline must have dropped them when she... They were sticking out of the envelope.
So you decided to keep them?
No. No, I wanted to burn them. But then when Des Carmody broke in, see, I thought...
He was probably after these.
Did you take anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Hook?
No.
Hello? Is anyone home? Miss Windsor?
The Hook Library. This is all Hillary's, isn't it? Do you think she's capable of murder, Miss Thornhill? Where does this lead?
Outside.
This is my room. My room!
Exhibit 1, Hook Library, 1235. This is a piece of fishing line.
Well, I hardly got my prints on it. Anyway, I picked it up with a pair of tweezers. It's all in my notebook. The chain of evidence is quite intact. It never left my study. My study door was locked at all times.
You love murder, don't you, Miss Windsor? Fascinates you. Someone of your intelligence. People are always underestimating your intelligence, aren't they? Even Carol. Makes you very angry.
You think I killed them?
Why else would you remove evidence from the crime scene? And by the way, the chain of evidence is not intact. It's broken the minute anything leaves police hands. I would have thought you'd know that.
But why would I kill them? What possible reason would I have?
Absolutely none. Except to see if you could. That's why you did it, isn't it? The challenge? You had it all worked out right down to the spear's angle of entry. Better than reading about it in a book, wasn't it?
Wonder what it'd be like finding a partner skewered to the wall like that. When I fainted, it'd be Carol skewered? Oh, what a buzz. Pure adrenaline. No, you don't get...
Still think she's the son of Sam?
Oh, stop it, Hillary. You're obsessing.
What's she talking about?
Jeffrey and Frida.
Tape she made while she was watching them.
You look like an old married couple. Nag, nag, nag.
Your husband wasn't the father of Pauline's baby.
What?
Hillary Windsor's very observant.
Push his hands away. You look like an old married couple. Nag, nag, nag.
They were having an affair.
We've been so distracted by Pauline and James' relationship, we didn't even consider that Frida and Jeffrey might be up to the same thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Hook, this is the police!
What's that noise?
Car engine.
Mr. Hook!
What's his name? What's his name?
No, he's gone.
This is a copy of the letter Jeffrey left explaining why he killed himself.
I know, he showed me.
So you knew he was planning to kill himself?
Yes.
And you did nothing to stop him?
No?
In it, he says that he killed Pauline and James and you had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
So you knew he'd killed them?
Well, he told me this morning.
Mrs. Holland, we know that you spoke to the fisheries officer. You knew about Des and the abalone poaching. You knew that was why James and Pauline wanted to buy him out, didn't you?
Well, I told Jeffrey about that. That must be where he got the idea to use Des as a suspect by using a spear gun.
Right, so that was Jeffrey's idea, was it?
Yes.
You told Des that Pauline would be at the house at 12 o'clock, not 12:30 like you told us. Was that Jeffrey's idea too?
Yes.
So you must have known right from the beginning that Jeffrey was planning to murder his wife.
We've got her. 3 people are dead. I want her for being more than just an accessory.
I want to see my children.
James wasn't supposed to be there, was he?
I loved James. He was a good father.
How long had you been having an affair with Geoffrey Hook? 6 months. Did he tell you he wasn't sleeping with his wife anymore? He lied to you, didn't he? You realised the baby was his. And if he'd lied to you about that, he could have lied to you about everything. He could have lied about loving you.
We were going to be married. I was going to live at Geoffrey's place with the kids. Well, they could have seen their father any time they wanted. Geoffrey said he loved me.
So, for you and Geoffrey to be together, you had to kill Pauline. It wasn't Geoffrey's idea to use the spear gun, was it?
You think Geoffrey would come up with something as original as that? He worked out the mechanics, but the idea was mine.
So Des unwittingly provided the bait and you set the trap. Pauline did answer her mobile. You told her that Des was going to come over to the house to drop something off. And it was your idea to use Hilary Windsor as a witness. I'll admit to killing Pauline. But not James. He was an accident. Frida Holland, I'm charging you with the murders of Pauline Hook and James Holland.
The organs and muscle groups have got that typical cherry red appearance. Frothy fluid present in the airways.
Yeah, classical presentation of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Of course, we'll have to wait for the toxicology
results. Yes. Excuse me.
It's almost enough to put you off matrimony, isn't it?
What? That wonderful institution?
I don't see you taking the plunge.
No, whereas you, on the other hand, Imogen, you've already got your feet wet, I believe. Yes, kept man, so Dee tells me. Who's the lucky fella?
Now, why would you be interested in something like that, Lance?
Oh, well,
Are you jealous?
Small talk, Imogen, small talk. Stick to toxicology in future.